Overall, man, great performances tonight by a lot of fighters. Excited for the card, but let's go ahead and jump right into the Charles Oliveira and Gamrot fight. Let's be honest. This is when you talk about there's levels to it. When people talk about that, this is exactly what they're talking about. The transitions to the back. Look, he knew probably that he wasn't going to be able to out wrestle Gamrot, but what he could do is threaten the takedowns, or what he could do is get himself into clinches, get himself into that position where he could try to control the scrambles, not allowing himself to get taken down in positions where he fought the takedown so much that he lost a position to go ahead and grapple. Like Bisping had said, is that when he started to hit the omoplata is not really, it can be finished, but it's not a finishing position in MMA. It's very rarely finished in sport jiu-jitsu as well. So it just comes down to I utilize that position to get me to a better position. I utilize that position to get me to the top, to the mount, to get to a sweep so I get some sort of top position and do work from there. And that's exactly what Charles Oliveira did. He baited the leg a little bit, got stuck up in the leg hand a little bit in the transition, was able to clear his leg. And that first round, I mean, it was a very dominant first round for Charles Oliveira in that first round. Second round comes out. I thought he fought a great second round. Just a good job, man. The way he was able to transition to take in the back. Every time a wrestler goes to the referee's position, which is all fours, when they go to all fours, I just think to myself, Charles does exactly like, what I've seen a lot of top level jiu-jitsu guys do. Goes near side hook right away, kind of sags their hip right into his lap. And if he can't get it, he waits for them to pull themselves up, and he drags himself up with them. So as they scoot themselves to get back to the referee's position, they're pulling Gamrot was having to pull Charles Oliveira up with him as well, which is just using energy. You're having to carry somebody else's weight around. All of those things become a problem when it comes to the grappling world, right? You just everything starts to feel heavy. You feel like, man, he may not be a wrestler, but his positioning, the way he makes you carry his weight, all of those things, you could tell that Gamrot was starting to feel that. Now, Gamrot was having a little bit of success, was able to land some punches, but some of that I feel like was, and not to take anything away from Gamrot, he's a very solid, very good fighter. He is just one-dimensional. He has wrestling with the ability to go ahead and stand, which some wrestlers never get that. Gamrot has the ability to tune himself in and go, hey, I need to make sure that I stand more for this fight and not just wrestle mindlessly, not just like shoot raw dog shots, put myself in shitty positions. He's got that. That's a mental breakthrough that he's been able to achieve throughout his career. I really admire that about him, because some guys, no matter how good their wrestling is, like I'll give you an example, Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel's probably the best wrestler in the UFC in terms of credentials. But you can tell sometimes it just shuts down when he starts to get hit. Not all fighters have the ability to transition through getting hit and then wrestling and work into their wrestling positions to have a dominant position. Gamrot has that. Gamrot's also not afraid to be hit and hit back. So I admire that about him. But in this fight tonight, Charles Oliveira was just a whole other level. There was not a position ever that I see Charles Oliveira feel like, okay, look, he could lose in this position. He could lose in this scramble. He could lose in this clinch. He could lose on the feet. He got a little careless. I agree with Michael Bisping. He was kind of just showing Gamrot no respect. But I feel like when you're fighting someone who is one-dimensional, you have to do that to them. You have to let them know, I don't care if you take me down, because that's really your only avenue of winning, is to take me down and hold me down. Charles, even if he did allow himself to get taken down, or even when he did hit the ground scrambling, like I said when I started this conversation, was he doesn't allow himself to lose the position on the way down. He doesn't fight the takedown so much that he ends up in mount or side control or three-quarter mount. He doesn't end up with his back taken, because he fought the takedown so much that he ended up in a really shitty position and allowed Gamrot to advance from that position. He basically got into these scrambles. He made sure that he fell into some good positions. He made sure he had the omoplata, made sure he attacked the triangle, made sure he was looking for the leg, capturing good positions to make sure he could continue to scramble once he hit the ground. That is very key when you're fighting a really top-level wrestler like Gamrot. Charles Oliveira tonight showed that he's just on another level than Gamrot. Nothing against Gamrot. He's got some work to do still. But if I'm looking at the lightweight division, right? If I'm looking in the rankings right now in the lightweight division, you have Gamrot right now at number 8. He's got a loss to Dariush, who's number 9, but he's also got, who else has he fought? I mean, like, there's guys in here for him to fight. Gamrot, though, I would see you put him against somebody like Rafael Fiziev. Can he get through somebody who has really good kickboxing, shorter in stature, very difficult to deal with in terms of on the feet? Can he fight somebody like that? I want to see the Fiziev versus Gamrot fight. That's a fight I think that they need to make. That'd be a great action-packed fight. I'm also not opposed. Look, if you want to go ahead and stamp his name on it, put Gamrot against Michael Chandler. Let's get Michael Chandler kind of, I guess pushed to the side, but you have a wrestler, someone who likes to wrestle. You're going to get an exciting fight out of him. He will stand and he will trade. Gamrot will be able to probably wrestle him because Chandler doesn't wrestle anymore. So, but I look at that. There will be some good exchanges in the beginning. If Chandler doesn't get him out of there early, you could have that fight go into a slobber knocker style fight. But I think Gamrot out wrestles him, dominates top position, probably finishes and gets him out of there though at some point. But Fiziev and Gamrot makes for a very good fight. There's other fights I could push up, but let's focus on him fighting a very evenly matched fight. So I put Gamrot against probably like a Rafael Fiziev. That'd be probably a good matchup for him to have his next fight. In terms of Charles Oliveira, realistically, it's whatever he wants to do. Like he's kind of done enough in his career that he can kind of pick and choose what he wants to do, when he wants to do it, who he wants to fight. I mean, I liked his call out that he had this week. His call out that he had this week was Max Holloway. He wants to fight Max for the BMF title. Charles has done everything he possibly could do in the 145-pound division except win the title. Then he goes to 155. He wins the title, has great performances, defends the title, and then now adding the BMF title, knowing that it's available and it's out there, and he's getting a little bit older in age. Why not chase that? Why not say, hey, bring that belt? Let me have that belt. Let's go ahead and fight for that belt. That makes for a very good fight, very tough fight for both of them. I think Charles is the more well-rounded fighter than Max. But let's be honest, man. You can never count Max out. That's just how it goes. I don't ever really count Charles out either. So it makes for a very good fight. And I like that fight. I want to see that fight. That, to me, is the fight I think that you're probably going to have to make next if you're the UFC. Charles asked for that fight. Max is going to be unavailable until 2026. I think Charles probably won't fight again until 2026. And that's a great fight to matchmake. So I've done the matchmaking for the UFC. Go ahead and listen up, guys. I think Gamrot versus Fiziev is a great fight to match up. And I think Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway, another great fight to match up. Unless there's going to be a Max Holloway versus Conor McGregor at the White House. Then we just take a step back and we let Max Holloway do his thing against Conor McGregor for the BMF title at the White House. That's my caveat on that whole thing. But I also love, I'd love to see the Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway fight. Element, the best hydration drink in the business. I had citrus earlier today. It's actually fantastic. And now they're making the lemonade salt in the can. Cannot wait. So if you guys use that link down below in the descriptions, they'll send you a bonus package with every single purchase. That's compliments of the Wayne In podcast. So hope you guys enjoy that.